Alright, we're recording. It's a little late. I'm doing art every day as we're all home. Do my best to stay creative. Made the commitment, gonna do some kind of art, collaborate every day. Hope it inspires you to make some art. Today, I'll be honest, I ran a little short on time. I had a bunch of other shit I was trying to do. But, gotta stick to the commitment, so I just opened up my bookmarks. You know, I'll look through projects on HITRECORD and bookmark stuff sometimes and be like, oh, that'd be fun to do later, not gonna do it right now. And was just looking through my old bookmarks and was like, oh, this is a fun one I meant to do months ago, didn't do it. I could do this real quick right now. That'll be my thing for the day. And this is a project by The Rentals. It's really cool that The Rentals joined our site. I actually haven't heard their new album. They've been making art sort of inspired by their new album, and I have to listen to it, to be honest. But this is one of those like nostalgic things for me. If you're a 90s kid like me, and a massive, massive Weezer fan, not to like blow you up, dude, for, you know, the famous band, but that's how I found out about The Rentals, was being a huge Weezer fan. And anyway, it's been really cool seeing you guys on the site making art with the community, inspired by the art that you're making. But this was a project they started called Breaking and Breaking and Breaking. It was a simple voice acting challenge. Sometimes voice acting is about reading a piece of text out loud and sort of performing it. It's more like acting. But sometimes people will ask for just off the cuff, talk off the top of your head, tell a story about your life. And actually, I think some of the best voice acting comes from that. People just like hitting that record button and going. And they said, tell a funny story about some time that you felt duped. And I was sitting there pooping, trying to think of a story about when I had felt duped. And I guess, obviously, The Rentals were on my mind, and so I thought of actually a story that involved The Rentals from back in the 90s, a conversation I had with my brother in a car driving around the valley about music. And I'm sure they weren't really trying to hear stories about their band, but that's what came to mind, and that's what I did. I'll play you some of the story. I talked for like 5 minutes. They said to keep it to 3 minutes, and I talked for more than that. That's against the rules. I shouldn't have done that. Well, fuck it, here, listen to some of it. So here's the thing, like, I had this kind of, at age, whatever, 14, 15, and I had this sort of snobby, narrow-mindedness about how good music was played on quote-unquote real instruments. Guitars, basses, drums, maybe horns, you know, violins, whatever, but like real instruments, not synthesizers. And this song, Friends of P, had this synth hook. But I didn't think it was a synth because in my mind, K-rock, my bastion of good music, what I believed it stood for was what I stood for, which was that music should be played on real instruments. And if I had known anything about my K-rock history, of course, I would have known that no less recent than like 5 probably years prior, like all the music on K-rock was played on synthesizers and the, 80s new wave stuff. I know I had this conversation with my brother in a car where I was like, isn't that incredible that they got that sound out of a guitar? And he was like, that's not a guitar. I was like, it has to be a guitar. It's on K-rock. They only play music on real instruments. He was like, what are you talking about? No, they don't. That's obviously a synthesizer. And I felt like I had the rug pulled out from under me. I actually like the story. It's amusing to me. I don't know if it'll be amusing to you. I hope it is. I bet, though, you could think of a story, some story from your life where you got duped. Someone was lying to you, or maybe no one was lying to you. You were lying to yourself, or you were just convinced of something, as was the case for me in this story. I was convinced of something that, like, no one had tried to convince me of. I just sort of convinced myself of it for some reason. But I think a lot of the best stories come from just, like, things like this, people kind of sharing their own personal life experience. And you never know where stories like this can go. Actually, some of the coolest short films that we've made on HITRECORD start as very kind of autobiographical, personal stories from someone just saying, well, this happened to me. So yeah, do that. Tell a story. If you've been watching these videos and saying like, yeah, I'd like to make art, but I'm not an artist, you have a story. You have some story from your life where you felt duped. You can tell that story right now. Look on the app, find the project. There's a link right down there. There's a record button. Hit the record button. Start talking. Well, first think of what the story is you're gonna tell, then do all that. It'll be good. You'll like it. I'll be back tomorrow with something more ambitious, but sometimes, you know, taking it easy, just going off the cuff, it's okay. It's okay. See you tomorrow. More art at home. Thanks again.